I can't count how many times I've been requested to find the portfolio of Luc Belmar and to know what he's up to in crypto. Why it's important? Because if we listen what he says, in the previous bull market, he made more than $150 million in profit. Now, is this life-changing money? Pretty much yes. So that's why we're going to try to find his portfolio to see what is his next move. How do we know this? Well, Luc Belmar is quite vocal on social media, and I've found few elements that will help us dramatically to find his address and his full portfolio. For example, on this video,
I purchased at that time, Pancake Swap was $25 million market cap, very small. I purchased 1% of the supply for $250,000. And from 25 million, it went up to a $2.6 billion market cap. I sold, I think, at about 30.
That's the kind of information that we wanted, to know when he bought and for how much. So now that we have this information, we're going to check the market cap of Pancake Swap. And before 25 million, that would mean we are buying around the 3rd of December, before the 4th of December. That would be it. All right. It was pretty much here and then went crazy up. Of course, it went down later on, but Luc said they sold at $36, which is amazing if it's true, because that was like really near the top of the top. By the way, welcome on Handsome Finance. Pour down your matcha, because here what we do is we study what's happening on the blockchain. We try to find who is the smart money, people who made a lot of profits. We find their portfolio, we set up alerts, and like this, we can copy their portfolio. And today I will show you all the steps so you can maybe find the portfolio of other influencers or whatever you want. Because Luc Belmar, for example, if you follow his portfolio now, if we found it, then it's gonna be super interesting, because the bull market is about to happen, right? And then if he says, okay, I'm investing in that, now that you have an audience of like few 100,000 of people, they're gonna rush into it because they listen Luc Belmar as the father, as the God, as like what they always wanted to be. By learning from your ex-girlfriend's skills, what are we doing now is to check his Twitter when he talk about Bitcoin, NFT, crypto, Web3. Let's see if we can find some tweets that are interesting. You know what? We're gonna check only for Pancake Swap or Swap. Tweeting a lot about Cake. And you see at that time, it was not that popular, huh? Pretty small. We have his birthday, that's cool. Cake King, that was his name. Okay. I wish I could have an idea exactly of what. So it's basically him bragging about how much money he made. By the way, why I talk a lot about CZ, which is the previous CEO of Binance, is because CZ said in a podcast on Twitter, I don't remember how they call it, Space or something like that, that he was checking what Pancake Swap were doing, because Luc went on, asked a question like, oh, okay, they have the Uniswap on Ethereum, but what do you have on the Binance Smart Chain? And he said, we have Pancake Swap. And then it went on from this. The rest is history. To be fair, he applied one of the things that we talk about in this channel a lot, is go where there are not many people that are talking about interesting stuff, because that's where you would get the information. Be as close as possible of the information. Here we have something. I've been buying Binance since $2 in 2017 and Pancake Swap since $1.5. And when I check here, then 20th of December, price, yeah, that makes sense, 50 cents. The information is correlated, I would say. So that makes me realize I have a mistake here. He bought it for $0.5 and not 5 cents, which makes the numbers before a bit lower, but he still made a bunch of money. One of the most important things to realize is when you search sell, you don't find anything. Sold, you don't find anything. So that's the thing. Most of the time on social media, YouTube and things like that, you get buy signals. You never get your sell signal. And that's how they get you, because most of the people and everyone, they want you to get in those crypto, but they don't care about you getting out. They care about them first getting out. But when you're in a crypto, you would like everyone to join that crypto. So that's why you have to be extra careful and always take some profits. That's one of the big learnings that you could take away from this video and click on the thumbs up from it. Now that we got those elements, 1% of the supply at that time, We have the price of buying. We have an idea of how much he bought of tokens. And he also said that he was in the top 10 holders. Well, if he owned 1% of the circulation supply, it's really low chance, honestly. But you know what? We're going to try it out. So now let's get technical. It's pretty cool so far. We saw how to do research with social media and the pricing. And now we're going to go to the next step and go into the geeky stuff. So I'm going to use Dune.com. Dune.com is a free tool that lets you do SQL requests on the blockchain. Basically, you can say, I want to know what's this, and that. Please give it to me. But you have to write it in a geeky language. So here I have my request where it's like, I want all the information from ERC20 BNB. That means it's the Binance Smart Chain. Then I have the block time, the date. So we want on the 12th of December 2020. Contract address, it's the token of Pancake Swap. To get the token contract, you get it here on CoinGecko. Then after that, I select as address, cash value, arrive balance from transfer to all. And I select the top 30. That's it. Balance descendant. So that means from the top to the bottom. Let's get the top 40. And we know now that we are looking for balance around 500K. Circulating supply, 1% of that. And as Luke said that he was owning 1% of the circulating supply, we arrive at 250K USD, which makes us to 500K tokens. So far, all the data that he says, they're connected and they work. So I think what he says is true. And now that we know this, we can have our SQL request to get those top 40 running. We get a little Santa Claus here. We have all our beautiful addresses, and to check them one by one, I don't want to like go and have a lot of work to do. So first, I think I can remove the top 5 because if he was in the top 5, he would have said it. Now I can see that I may have a problem in this because when I check the balance, I can see that the balance is way off. For example, if I take this balance, all right, that would be the balance, and we have our price as $0.5, then it doesn't make sense at all. So here we will be at 200 millions. So my SQL request may have a problem, may have an issue, but still we're going to try it out because we have to find something. So I'm going to go and open until the 15. When you are checking the top holders, you have to be careful because sometimes you will have EVM, so that's like basically bots on Ethereum. You will have also some smart contract. You can have some liquidity pool, some balance, some addresses that were used by exchanges. So for example, if this one is unsupported, I know it's not a real account. But same for this one. That one looks a bit more like a real account. And I received some wrap Ethereum on November 24. So that's a good thing. Now I'm going to check if the balance went quite up. We went to 2 million. That's pretty interesting. Let's check for Pancake Swap what we can see. Max, so it just bought, okay, receive. I don't have the full historic of transaction. With this tool, I'm not happy with what I see for one. Let me check that address, 161. So I'm going to use the second tool to visualize it. Okay, so this one went up to 4 billion. I can see it's a lot of Binance deposit too. So, okay, that's why it's messy. That's an exchange address. This is owned by Binance, I believe. So again, we close it down. What do we have here? Okay, $167. It's probably not interesting either. Same. Feel like it's going to be the same again. Nope. All right, let's open the rest of it. So we stop at 16. Let's open this, but we're going to use the visualizer because we will have more information. Click, open all the links. We get 25,000 smart chef. We want a portfolio at 1.6 million, which is not enough for us. So we close it. You see here, it's a bit better to see what's going on because I can see it's a Pancake Swap. That one, we went to 16 million. Maybe it would be interesting, but then after, like, all right, really at the minimum of it, we never know. Well, when they have when I see this number of transaction, for me, that's not really a good sign. From null address to this one, that's weird. So I believe that one was used by Pancake Swap as well, because those kind of addresses would not send Pancake Swap. Doesn't make sense. So this one is probably part of it. Our OpenSea user, that's already a good sign. But I can see that it's not really going up here. Pancake Swap. Oh, 2 million. I like that one. Went up to 13 million. That seems interesting to me. A lot of transaction though. 47 minutes ago, 4 hours ago. You wouldn't do that. Huh. I'm going to check if that person bought some cake. Is it Pancake? Pancake Swap. What I can check is what was the size of the portfolio in December. We have 46. Actually, we are in November here, so that's not good. I'm going to put December 27. That's fine. December 20. 60K pancakes. It's probably not our guy, but that could be. That could be. I'm going to keep it on the side. This one is not. ChipSwap V2. No. OpenSea user. 450K. We went up to 6 million. That's not our guy. Profit and loss. That's perfect. Yeah, I should have checked that actually. Profit and loss. We are at 9 million profit. I think Luke make a bit more than that. From what he says. Of course, it's always from what he says. Binance deposit. T-Bow on OpenSea. 2.5 million profit. Okay, let's check the cumulative. Probably not our guy. No. The closest we have so far is this address. Did I open everything? Yeah. So maybe there's like, I think we are like 10% chance. 10% chances that this address will be from Luke Belmar. Probably we could find some other stuff. So that's why, like, if you're in the investors boardroom, we're going to try to find this. Let's check what are they doing today. All right, so it's this address ending by 51DD. And now I'm going to check the portfolio as well. 2 million, a lot on the BNB Smart Chain, which would make sense, right? Because we know that Luke is massively grateful to Binance and CZ. So when we check the history, get some Pancake Swap. Oh, that's really interesting, actually. That person bought some Beam recently, 9 hours ago. And we know that Beam is a project that Alex Baker talked about. We talked about it on this channel as well in a previous video. You can check that one. Billionaires are planning to 25x on this 5 crypto. Actually, I think since that video, a lot of them made really good profits. But that person is clearly accumulating on some Beam. That's really interesting. Yeah, tons of transactions. And since a while, actually. Maybe it's totally wrong what I'm saying. But it's just a good indicator. They probably use a bot. They probably use some automation. I would assume so, to make all those buy orders like that. Now, we are not sure if it's his address. Anyone that wants to help me find it, come, chat. And for those who want to have the SQL request and the address that we just found, I will put a link in the description. Now, what you need to do and what I need to do is to click thumbs up on this video. No, but it's to be sure that this address could be his. Maybe it's another one so we could continue research on. But what we know is that those influencers, we have their addresses, and same for those investments. So you should definitely check this video because you will see what they do. Now, what I can do is set up some alerts. Actually, in the investors boardroom, we have all the alerts about those transactions. So like this, we don't have to monitor every day. We know push notification, this influencer bought this, that investment fund bought that, or they are selling this. So we can act accordingly and be smarter with our investment. Because if you wait that the information is out, for example, we have the clear thing here where you say buy, I bought, but never says on Twitter at least when he sold. Well, if you knew that, you would have sold one of the biggest holders was dumping his bag on the other investors. You choose your side. The links are in the description. And I see you in the next one. Stay handsome. Ciao. Now, I'm not saying that we will find his portfolio and his address for sure. What I want to show you mostly is the process and how to understand around this. Because I know that with those skill sets, first, your knowledge about blockchain is going to step up one more, and research is going to step up one more level as well. And that will help you in every areas of life. So that's why I want to do this video.